welcome back to the All About Art podcast. And this week is about the back bedroom studio. So basically, the back bedroom studio is what me and my girlfriend created during the lockdown, and it was in the back bedroom of our terraced house in Mossley. And what we did was, as soon as the lockdown happened, we hot-tailed it down to the studio in which is in a big mill in the town, and it was a little bit like some crazy robbery really. Went into the studio, and I went in there with my bag for life, and I ran around the studio and filled it with papers and acrylics and palette knives, books and everything else I could think of. I really tested the ability of my bag for life that day, and then we threw our swag into the back of the van, and we got it back home, and then we washed everything down in disinfectant, and then we transported it upstairs and transformed the little tiny box room into a studio. A couple of months before, I bought a bureau, a 1950s bureau, not very big, very simple, and I use it for all my accounts and stuff. So I put all the account stuff and paperwork into a drawer. Thought I won't need that, and I installed all the art, my art and art materials into the bureau. And Liz was behind me on a table, and basically we were back to back in a studio. I never shared the studio before, so we lived together but never shared a studio, so there could be a difference there. And we had a bin in the middle that was shared, and I have to say it went really well. We spent a good few weeks in there together every day, just as long as I kept up with the tea making duties. It was okay. Now the room has one window, and it's about a foot off the ground, and you look there, you can see straight down onto the street, so you can see what's going on. And it felt a little bit. There was a sketch show in the 90s, and called Harry Enfield and Chums. I think you can get it on Netflix, if not YouTube. And there was a character called Michael Payne, based on the Michael Caine actor, and he was stood in a terraced house room behind some net curtains, and it goes a bit like this. My name is Michael Payne, and I'm your nosy neighbour. Here at number 52, it's gone out again, without a mask. Without a mask! There you go, that's my impersonation. Okay, I thought that was quite good actually. And you have to tell me what you think on the Instagram account. So, basically, it had a nice amount of light because it's west facing. So, it's a really light, quite airy room really. It made a nice little studio. Liz was working on abstract paintings on panels, and she had them out on the wall. And I started doing, because I didn't have my oils, because the oils wouldn't have gone very well in such a small space. So I had acrylics and watercolours. I started with the watercolours and doing seashells that I found on the beaches over the years, because I was trying to stick to the Inspired by Nature exhibition that we got in 2022, which I'll mention in another podcast. And they're very nice, but I find it very difficult to just stay doing straight paintings. I like to get as creative as possible, so I went on to acrylics, and then I started washing paper with colours, and then I started cutting things out, and before you know it, I was doing cutouts, a bit like Matisse's cutouts, and then because I was working from my imagination more, I started going surreal, more surreal, based on a bit of folklore and Greek mythology and whatever I wanted to do. Really, it was like reminded me of when I was a kid. I used to make models in the back bedroom and FX models and stuff like that. So I just used that time to mess about really, and just have a play. And so it's completely different. It works completely different from what I do in the studio. So, and I thought I'd put them out on social media, but I don't know what the response was mixed. It doesn't really matter. I was just enjoying it. I was just doing it, and I think it did break down a few barriers. Could we create these barriers of, not doing what we completely want to do, but I've been concentrating on doing that more and more, really. So, the cutouts. I did one based on the NHS, and that work, is for sale, and all the proceeds go to the NHS. I'll put it on the Instagram account. It's All About Art podcast, and it had because it's blocks of colour. People were mentioning that it would look like a stained glass window, and I kind of like that because it means it's I was getting them bright colours coming out, and also because the cutouts, I was cutting everything out and then sticking everything down onto an underpainting, and last year I was experimenting with stop frame animation, just messing about. So I did some stop frame animations on how they were put together, and I didn't stop there. I started doing sound effects and a little bit of music, a little productions really. So I'll put them on the Instagram account as well. You can have a look. They've got very sort of humour in them, and they all come to life. So this the paintings that are usually finished sort of product, they actually move as well. So on a day-to-day sort of basis, we did have a routine, and in the evening we took the dog out, Tansy, the greyhound, and then because she doesn't like walking a lot, we brought her back home, and then head out onto the hill. There's a hill at the top of the Mossley, and then like wild animals being let out, in our 20-minute exercise, and we had quite nice weather during that time, so I think that helped. It was quite, even though we're creative, you could feel the it's quite quite stressful as well, and it was very uncertain, wasn't it, really? So I think creativity helps in them times, even though you might find it difficult to do. I did a little video called painting, creating artwork with household materials. So I did a little video, and it was about painting with coffee. And you paint with coffee, basically you're painting with stains. So I went through that sort of process, and I can put that video on as well on the Instagram. So I was quite impressed with how good it is to paint with coffee. So there you go, you learn something during the lockdown, I thought. Anyway, that's a little bit about the back bedroom lockdown studio, really, and what happened there. I've got all the work together, I don't know what to do with it, but I made some makeshift frames as well, so everything's scratch built to suit the artwork. And obviously it's not over yet, we're still going to be very, very careful. I think it's easy to forget that. And that's it, that's the story about the back bedroom studio. I hope you enjoyed listening, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.